Hello and welcome to Being the Elite, or BTE Kayfabe Content. The purpose of this show is to basically say everything that actually matters in the context of kayfabe and the show, such as AEW Dynamite. This show is made for AEW fans by an AEW fan. Today we will be focusing on episode 244 of Being the Elite. This episode was released on 2/22/21. First off, we found out why the Good Brothers were not able to support the Young Bucks at last week's Dynamite. This was because, as they considered helping their friends, they walked by the bathroom and thought, maybe this is a good time to masturbate first. And so that's what they did, apparently. And that's why they were so late. Later on in the show, just a few minutes later, we see Isaiah Cassidy and Money Matt Hardy deepening their relationship. This is after they had betrayed Hangman Page in the match in which Money Matt Hardy had fought alongside Hangman Page, fighting against TH2, which they won, and we find out later in this segment was paid for by Matt Hardy. In the future, TH2 says that the cost of their services will be doubled, but to this, Money Matt Hardy offers the devil's deal. That deal that no one has quite yet been able to avoid other than Hangman Page. In the next scene, we see a angered Young Bucks discussing with Brandon Cutler a match that they have set up for him for Dynamite. This primarily seeming out of nepotism, which they clearly state, because they feel screwed over by their closest of friends. Now, Brandon Cutler has not been seen on Dynamite since 2019, actually. And so, this is a chance for him to prove himself since his hot streak, and before that, his loss streak. I failed to mention that the match that the Young Bucks set him up with was Brandon Cutler versus Jack Swagger, or Jake Hager. Yes, can't say that anymore. That is property of WWE. In the next segment, we basically see the Dark Order circle jerking over their failed attempt to recruit Adam Page. This eventually results in much discussion, quite homoerotically, of how much sex Hangman Adam Page has a week, to which they agree at least once a week. All of this results in them eventually coming into a chant of Hangman Fox, quite reminiscent of Hangman Sucks, a chant quite thoroughly believed by Hangman himself when drunk. Well, he comes into the room hearing this chant and says that he is quite interested in possibly joining the Dark Order. This is not guaranteed, but perhaps when drunk, Hangman Page shows some side of his darkness. And in the final news of importance, we come to Sammy Guevara telling us that now that he has the Being the Elite belt, he will be defending it on his vlog in a match contended against his mother. With that is the kayfabe content of this episode. However, we wish to appreciate the humor that was put into this episode. During the Dark Order segment, John Silver coined a statement I had never heard of, intentionally, I'm sure. That when he was discussing the Hangman, he called him the Frog's Pussy. And this man gets sex all the time. And when he said this, everyone within the Dark Order questioned him for using this statement. However, later in the night, when Hangman Page reluctantly joins in on the cheering, he says that John Silver is the Frog's Pussy. So, I guess the phrase is entering the lexicon. And actually, looking back, I think he said that about the Dark Order, not necessarily John Silver.